Have you ever wondered how history truly happened? Not as dates, not as monuments, but as moments lived by people who did not know what came next. America did not rise in a single hour. It took shape slowly through lives lived in uncertainty, pressure, and quiet resolve. Some of those lives were remembered, while others passed on without recognition. In this story, we reveal 20 lives that quietly shaped this nation. I mean, people who worked hard, people who waited, people who stood still when standing was dangerous, people who spoke when silence felt safer, people who wrote words under candlelight, unsure if anyone would ever read them. There were no headlines by then, no applause, but only choices made without knowing the outcome. History did not announce itself while it was happening because it felt fragile and incomplete. Those moments are gone, but they shaped the nation which we live together. What you're about to see is not just history retold, but it is history returning back to life. This is Timeworn America, where the past still speaks. Number 1. George Washington. George Washington was born in 1732 at a time when America did not yet exist. He led the Continental Army through uncertainty, hunger, and war. At Valley Forge, soldiers froze, starved, and deserted. Many expected collapse. Washington stayed holding together an army that barely survived. When victory came, power was offered to him. He refused a crown. Instead, he presided over the Constitutional Convention, helping turn rebellion into a nation. He became the first president, choosing service over control. By stepping down after 2 terms, he established a principle the world was not used to seeing, that power could be given up voluntarily. He died in 1799, but his restraint still anchors American democracy today. Number 2. Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was born in 1743. He drafted the Declaration of Independence, giving language to a revolution that had no clear voice. In a few pages, he expressed ideas about liberty and equality that would echo far beyond America. Jefferson believed deeply in education, reason, and the rights of the individual. Yet he lived with contradiction, holding ideals he struggled to fully realize in his own life. His legacy is complex but unavoidable. His words continue to challenge nations to measure themselves against their promises. He died in 1826, but the ideas he released into the world still demand answers. Number 3. Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was born in 1809 in poverty, with little formal education. He rose slowly, shaped by failure, loss, and perseverance. When the nation fractured, he carried the burden of keeping it whole. He preserved the Union and ended slavery during the bloodiest conflict in American history. He understood that survival alone was not enough. The nation had to stand for something higher. Through quiet resolve and moral courage, he redefined what America could be. He died in 1865, but his leadership remains a measure of justice and unity. Number 4. James Madison. James Madison was born in 1751. He believed liberty could not survive on good intentions alone. Freedom, he argued, needed structure, limits, and balance. As the father of the Constitution, he helped design a system meant to restrain power, even when held by those with good intentions. He shaped the Bill of Rights and the balance between branches of government. His work was not dramatic, but it was enduring. He died in 1836, but his framework still governs everyday American life. To number 5. Alexander Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton was born in 1755 in poverty, far from power. Rising through talent and ambition, he helped build the financial foundation of a fragile nation. America had ideals, but no system to sustain them. Hamilton created national credit, banking structures, and economic stability. He believed a strong financial system was essential to national survival. His vision was controversial but transformative. He died in 1804, yet the economic systems he designed still operate beneath modern America. Number 6. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt was born in 1882. He led America through two of its greatest crises, the Great Depression and the Second World War. At a time of fear and collapse, he spoke directly to the people, restoring confidence. Through the New Deal, he created jobs, security, and protections that reshaped daily life. He expanded the role of government, arguing it should protect citizens from total ruin. He died in 1945, but his legacy remains woven into modern society. Number 7. Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt was born in 1858. He believed leadership demanded action. At a time of unchecked industrial power, he challenged monopolies and defended workers. He conserved millions of acres of land, believing the nation's strength depended on its natural world. For Roosevelt, progress and responsibility were inseparable. Bold and uncompromising, he reshaped American leadership. He died in 1919, but his vision still protects the land and the idea of public responsibility. Number 8. Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born in 1929. He believed justice could be achieved without violence, a belief that required extraordinary courage. Through speeches, marches, and sacrifice, he led the civil rights movement. He challenged the nation to confront inequality not with hatred, but with moral clarity. His words reshaped laws, culture, and conscience. He died in 1968, but his dream remains unfinished and still urgent. Number 9. Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony was born in 1820. She believed women deserved an equal voice in democracy. At the time, this belief was widely dismissed. She spent decades speaking, organizing, and enduring ridicule and arrest. Progress was slow and victory always seemed distant. She never lived to see women gain the right to vote. She died in 1906, but her persistence permanently expanded American democracy. Number 10. Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was born in 1818 into slavery. He escaped bondage and taught himself to read and write. Acts once forbidden, knowledge became his weapon. Through speeches and writings, he forced America to confront the truth about itself. He demanded that the nation live up to its own ideals. He reshaped how freedom, equality, and humanity were understood. He died in 1895, but his voice still challenges injustice today. At number 11, Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was born around 1822 into slavery. She escaped bondage, but freedom was not enough for her. Again and again, she returned to the South, risking her life to guide others to safety. She moved through darkness, secrecy, and danger, leading people who had been denied everything. Her courage weakened the system of slavery and strengthened the promise of liberty. Tubman showed that bravery, paired with action, could change the course of a nation. She died in 1913, but her legacy of freedom still inspires generations. Number 12. Thurgood Marshall. Thurgood Marshall was born in 1908. He believed the law could be used as a tool for justice. In a country divided by segregation, he chose courtrooms instead of violence. He argued landmark cases that dismantled legal segregation, reshaping American law. He became the first African-American Supreme Court justice. Through patience, intellect, and persistence, he expanded liberty and equality for millions. He died in 1993, but his rulings still guide justice today. Number 13. Cesar Chavez. Cesar Chavez was born in 1927. He stood with farm workers who labored in harsh conditions with little protection and no voice. Their work fed the nation, yet their suffering went unseen. Through strikes, boycotts, and nonviolent protest, he reshaped labor rights. He showed that dignity was not a privilege, but a right. Chavez proved that ordinary people, united, could demand justice. He died in 1993, but his fight still lives in the nation's conscience. Number 14. W.E.B. Du Bois. W.E.B. Du Bois was born in 1868. He believed knowledge was a tool for freedom. At a time when opportunity was denied, he pursued education and truth. Through scholarship, writing, and activism, he reshaped civil rights and American thought. He challenged the nation to confront inequality with honesty and reason. His ideas helped shape movements that followed. He died in 1963, but his work continues to guide progress. Number 15. Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie was born in 1835 into poverty. He built great industry during America's industrial rise, but he believed wealth carried responsibility. Through libraries, schools, and institutions, he expanded access to education and opportunity. He reshaped philanthropy, arguing that knowledge should be shared, not hoarded. He died in 1919, but his contributions still educate and empower millions. Number 16. John D. Rockefeller. John D. Rockefeller was born in 1839. He transformed American business, helping create the foundation of modern industry. His methods were powerful, controversial, and deeply influential. Later in life, he turned wealth toward philanthropy. He reshaped medicine, education, and scientific research. He died in 1937, but his influence still touches the economy and society. Number 17. Eleanor Roosevelt. Eleanor Roosevelt was born in 1884. She believed every voice deserved to be heard. In a position defined by tradition, she chose advocacy. She reshaped the role of the First Lady, championed human rights, and spoke for those ignored. Her work extended beyond borders, shaping global conversations about dignity. She died in 1962, but her courage still guides America's conscience. Number 18. Henry Clay. Henry Clay was born in 1777. He believed compromise could hold a nation together. At moments of deep division, he chose negotiation over conflict. Through diplomacy and legislation, he delayed fracture and preserved unity. His work showed that patience and courage are often required to prevent collapse. He died in 1852, but his lessons still echo in American governance. Number 19. Sacagawea. Sacagawea was born around 1788. She guided explorers across unfamiliar land during a pivotal moment of expansion. With knowledge, calm leadership, and resilience, she helped ensure survival. She bridged cultures, navigated danger, and carried responsibility far beyond her years. Her presence shaped the future path of the nation. She died around 1812, but her legacy remains a symbol of guidance and courage. Number 20. Rachel Carson. Rachel Carson was born in 1907. Through careful research and powerful writing, she warned America about environmental harm. She exposed the dangers of pesticides and unchecked industrial impact. Her work reshaped how the nation thought about nature, health, and responsibility. In the face of criticism and illness, she refused silence. She died in 1964, but her legacy still protects the land and its people. Thank you for watching. If these stories added meaning or perspective, your engagement helps this work continue. You're welcome to share this video with others who value thoughtful histories like this. If a life stood out to you, I invite you to leave a comment below. And for future documentaries presented with care and historical respect, consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next video.